Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the latest instalment of my Principles of Good Health. And I'm recording this in March, which is known in the UK as Prostate Cancer Awareness Month. Really important that men start to take a greater focus and attention on their own health. So tonight I wanted to share with you some information around statistics around prostate cancer, but also around the more likely, more probable benign prostatic hyperplasia, hypertrophy, far more common, can cause similar symptoms. But in each case, what we don't want is either to occur in the first place. So my 7-step plan is providing help and advice, nutritional advice, to really help minimize the risks of benign prostatic hyperplasia. All of this advice as well can help reduce the risk of developing cancer. And so whether you're a man watching this or a woman watching this and wants to pass on this information to your male loved ones, then thank you for watching. And I'll just start to give you some more information, some of these statistics that I've got. So in the UK now, 1 in 8 men will go on to develop prostate cancer. What we do know is that whilst that in and on itself, cancer is scary, we do know that many men live with cancer and die with cancer, not because of cancer. But having said that, we don't want that to develop at all. The thing that's far more common, and I'll go on to explain what it is benign prostatic hyperplasia, also known as hypertrophy. This is enlargement of the prostate gland, but it's benign. That's why it's called benign prostatic hyperplasia. It's benign, so it's not cancerous. So on its own, it isn't cancerous. So, that takes that risk away. But the symptoms of both are quite common. And of course, I have to stress, if you experience these symptoms as a male, you absolutely should go and get this checked out. First of all, so that you can, I'm sure, rule out that it's cancer, but we just don't know till you've done the test to find out. The types of symptoms that could occur, definitely with benign prostatic hyperplasia, but even with cancer, are the need to pass urine more often. You might have difficulty urinating. There could be a weak flow. There could be some hesitancy, or indeed there could be some urgency. There could be the feeling like not having emptied the bladder properly, maybe potential pain in the pelvic region. Now, just on explaining what the prostate gland is, it's like a donut that wraps itself around the urethra. This is the tube that passes urine from the bladder out of the body. And so as the prostate enlarges, it can act like a clamp, and it can therefore put pressure onto that urethra, hence why it can give symptoms related to urination and making it more difficult, etc., or the need to go more often. So it's this enlargement that can very much be linked to dietary symptoms. Why is this becoming more common, as many things are becoming more common? What we know, one of the things we are aware of with BPH and this enlargement, is that there can be a more potent form of testosterone, known in simple terms as DHT. So testosterone can be converted to this more potent form of DHT, and that is what may cause the enlargement. There's too much testosterone, there's too much of this potent form, making the prostate grow larger. Estrogen as well can play a part. And yes, men do have some estrogen. So we need to be aware of this. So my 7-step plan are things that can help to minimize the conversion of testosterone to DHT, minimize the influence of estrogen on the prostate gland, and therefore could help minimize either the risk of BPH or minimize the symptoms if you do have this enlargement, potentially that could help to stop the enlargement going even further. So first of all, a really high-fat diet may not be helpful, particularly when we're looking at processed foods and saturated fats. A 2008 study of nearly 5,000 men found that those who had 38% of their calories specifically from more saturated fats compared to other men were 1/3 more likely to develop BPH. Now, it's not that you can't have any saturated fat. A little bit of lean red meat, good quality meat is fine. We have to look at this in conjunction with everything else. This was looking at a very high fat diet. So be very careful on your choice of meats. Be careful on your processed meats and your burgers and your sausages. But this doesn't really have the same effect when we look at essential fats from those oily fish and those nuts and seeds. They have an anti-inflammatory effect in the body anyway. We must eat those, really important to get those fats in the diet, but we may want to cut back on the more processed fats and more saturated fats from animal foods, from meats and from dairy. The second point is to eat more vegetables. Studies have found that men who eat far more vegetables than other men are less likely to develop BPH. Now, this is particularly the case for certain nutrients that are found in plant foods. Beta carotene, this is more related to those orange foods like carrots, sweet potatoes, squashes, tomatoes, but also things like broccoli and spinach and lettuce. Lutein, which is found in kale, spinach, broccoli, peas, parsley and peppers, and also vitamin C rich plant food, yellow and red peppers, parsley, tomatoes, peas and broccoli. Peppers, I think I've mentioned, kiwi fruits would fit there as well. Now, this was not the case for fruits as a whole. When we come on further on, and I'm talking about balancing blood sugar, then you'll understand why we need to be careful with fruits. This is much more a focus on our vegetable intake. Number 3 is to do with pumpkin seeds. Folk medicine have always known that pumpkin seeds were very good for urinary problems. And now science is backing up these old folklore things that have been around for many, many years. A 2014 German study found that overall men given 12-month treatment of pumpkin seeds, I can't tell you how many to eat, but just generally, it led to a clinically relevant reduction in BPH scores. That would be things to do with difficulty urinating, etc., those symptoms I mentioned at the start, compared to those using the placebo where there were no pumpkin seeds at all. So think about adding pumpkin seeds to salads, think about adding them to porridge, or just snack on them. You know, they're rich in many other things as well, but pumpkin seeds for benign prostatic hyperplasia is definitely a positive. Number 4, men, this is most relevant to you as well as women, is thinking about increasing phytoestrogen-rich foods. These are plant compounds that mimic natural estrogen, and they will lock onto the estrogen receptors. So the more harmful estrogen that may potentially damage the prostate and contribute to this enlarged prostate gland cannot have an action. And phytoestrogen-rich foods, you can look up this in other blogs and videos that I've done. But other phytoestrogen-rich foods to think about are particularly fermented soya, like tempeh and miso and natto, but also lentils, flaxseed, pulses, celery, and oats. Number 5 is zinc. Now, zinc is deficient in many people's diets today, and it's been found that those with benign prostatic hyperplasia have significantly lower levels of zinc than those who don't. It plays a part in the conversion of this testosterone to DHT, you know, which is to do with different enzymes encouraging this conversion. The best food sources of zinc are oysters, chicken legs, pumpkin seeds, tofu, lentils, sesame seeds, and eggs. So make sure you're getting plenty of zinc in your diet. Of course, oysters are way ahead of any other food when it comes to zinc levels, but, you know, think about all those other foods I mentioned. And I did mention chicken legs, not the breast. It's that darker meat that's very rich in zinc. Number 6, take good care to keep your blood sugar levels stable. Excess blood glucose will raise insulin, and insulin could lead to increased levels of that potent DHT hormone. So we want, of course, to switch away from refined carbohydrates, eat more of the complex ones, more brown rice and oats. Still keep portions of those fairly low because they in turn can lead to raised glucose, but are less likely to than the refined sources. Make sure you're eating protein with meal because that helps to stabilize the release of glucose from foods. Minimize sugary fruit. Your grapes, your bananas, your tropical fruits are the ones to watch out for. Be careful with dried fruit, condensed forms of sugars, and avoid fruit juices because they are just so sugary. And number 7 is thinking about foods that are high in another compound called beta-sitosterol. This may reduce the inconvenience of urinary frequency, and it's found in plant-based foods, hence the plant vegetable-rich diet, fermented soya. It's found in olives and olive oils and in flaxseed. And as a supplement, saw palmetto, I'm sure you might have heard of that in relation to men's health and prostate, but saw palmetto is a very well-known therapeutic agent in supplement form, very rich in beta-sitosterol, and is one of the first things we think of when we're thinking about protecting the prostate health and helping to reduce the conversion of testosterone to this more potent DHT. So that's my 7-step plan. First and foremost, really think about stabilizing blood sugars, avoiding processed foods, avoiding refined carbohydrates and sugars, and then think as much as possible about those 7 steps that I've just gone through to really maximize your intake of all those foods and nutrients that are really going to help to protect the prostate gland overall. Thank you for watching tonight. Hope to catch up with you soon on another installment of either watching this through my YouTube channel. Please subscribe, Peyton Principles Natural Health, or indeed if you're watching this on my Facebook page. Thank you indeed for watching. Take care, everyone.